Hey guys, it's Jake, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over the method I use to get from 1 to 50 as fast as I can on my hardcore character by myself. You can do this with your alt characters or your hardcore character, it doesn't really matter, but basically the two dungeons that I swap between are Anika's Claim and the Rhymescar Cavern, which is right here on the map in Fractured Peaks, right under the Bear Tribe Refuge waypoint. You're going to have to clear a stronghold, which is going to be the Malnock stronghold, to actually unlock these dungeons, and I believe that's a level 15 stronghold, so make sure if you're doing this by yourself you're at least level 15 or you might die, obviously. If you're doing it with a friend like I did, you can probably get away with doing this at level 12 or 13. I think I did mine at level 13 with a friend, so it's kind of up to you if you have a friend to do this with or not. Once you're done the stronghold, we can get into the actual farming, I suppose. So first you're going to want to pop an elixir for that 5% XP bonus, just to kind of maximize the amount of XP that we're getting doing this, and go into the first dungeon, which would be Anika's Claim. Inside Anika's Claim, you're just going to want to run around and do the very first objective and then leave. So go in there, run around, kill all the enemies that it tells you to, get all the stuff, and then just leave and go over to the Rhymescar Cavern and do the same thing. In both these dungeons, you're just going to want to do the very first objective and then leave. The reason for this is that there's a very good density of enemies in the very first objective, and the layout of these dungeons is actually super simple. In both these dungeons, all you really got to do is run around in like a circle around the first area, kill a bunch of enemies that it tells you to, and then you're done. You'll get a bunch of XP doing this, and the nice thing is by the time you're finished the first part of one, the other dungeon will have reset. They reset really fast, so you don't really have any downtime where you're not doing anything. You can kind of just run between them over and over again as much as you want. In terms of how long it takes to clear these dungeons, it takes me about 2 to 4 minutes to clear each one. So that's obviously going to depend on your build or your class, but for me, the longest I found that it would take me is probably a little over 4 minutes, and the fastest I could do it is probably around 2 minutes. It kind of depends on a few things, like I said, but either way, it's still pretty fast. In terms of my XP gains for this, my last 3 characters have been rogues, obviously, and I was kind of keeping track of this while I was doing it. So I found that from about level 15, when I would unlock this area, to probably the mid-20s, so like 26, 25, like that ballpark, it would be probably around 8 levels per hour, usually for me. And then as you go on, obviously it takes a little bit longer to level up. So I found that in my 30s, I would probably level up about 5 times per hour. And then going on to the 40s, it's probably around 3 times. Obviously this is going to depend heavily on your build and how fast you're actually clearing these dungeons. But for me, on my last 3 characters, that was about as fast as I was leveling. Some other things to note while you're doing this method that I typically do is you don't really have to worry about loot all that much unless it's like a legendary or a rare or something. Obviously pick those up if you can, but I typically don't really worry too much about loot. If I miss one, I just kind of go through the dungeon as fast as I can, killing all the enemies. I don't really do anything that would slow me down. The other thing to note is that there's actually vendors in between the 2 dungeons, so if you do happen to fill your inventory up, you can stop at a vendor really fast and just sell stuff in between the dungeons and be on your way. I typically find that I take a trip to the vendor every 30 minutes. Like once my elixir expires, I will go to a vendor and sell everything that I have, mostly just so I'm not wasting my elixir selling stuff. You can do it however you want, but that's just how I do it. Another thing you can do while you're leveling with this method is actually the Legion events once you get like into your 30s. You don't have to do this, and I really have no idea if it's any more effective or not to do this, but I typically do it anyways just for some variety, because running the same 2 dungeons over and over again will eventually get boring, obviously. So if you want to know more about those Legion events, I'll put a link up here to a video I made about it, and yeah, you can check that out as well if you want. So to close this video off, this method I think is probably the most effective way to go from 1 to 50 as fast as you can, at least the best method that I've found. If there's a better one, let me know in the comments because I would definitely love to hear it. I'm always looking for ways to get to level 50 faster just because I hate leveling to 50 normally. So let me know if you have a better one, but for me this is definitely the best one that's worked out for me, mostly because a lot of the dungeon farms that I've seen are for people that are already above level 50 trying to farm gold or legendaries and stuff. This has been the best straight XP farm that I've found, when you're under level 50, but who knows, there might be a better one. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this method, and hopefully it helps you guys, and I will see you guys later.